Hi, we're here to present a crash course on generational diversity to help you future managers in understanding and handling workers from different generations. The 4 different generations in the workforce today include traditionalists, baby boomers, Generation Xers, and Generation Yers. Let's begin with a look at traditionalists. To understand some of the differences between generations, we first need to look at the events and influences that took place during that time. During the traditionalist era, the Great Depression began in 1929 and lasted until the late 1930s or middle 1940s. World War II lasted from 1939 to 1945. During that time, between 1940 and 45, the female percentage of the U.S. workforce increased from 27% to nearly 37%. But that's another topic of diversity we won't be discussing here. The attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese also occurred in 1941. But there wasn't all bad news for this generation. Some of the great inventions during their time included the blender in 1922. In 1935, nylon was invented, most notably used for women's stockings, the atomic bomb in 1939, and the extremely popular Monopoly in 1935. What managers need to keep in mind is that traditionalists are described as being conservative, disciplined, respectful to authority, dedicated workers, loyal, but slow to accept change, and are conflict avoidant. Notable events that took place during the generation of baby boomers. The first Pizza Hut was opened in 1958, at least notable in my book. In 1959, Barbie is born. John Kennedy was elected president in 1960 and was later assassinated in 1963. The first Kmart and Walmart opened in 1962, and in 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King had a dream. He was assassinated in 1968. Baby boomers created the workaholic trend. They're collaborative and prefer working in a team setting, yet they're very competitive. They tend to have a higher loyalty toward work than toward outside life, and like traditionalists, they're very conflict avoidant. In the early years, Generation X witnessed the first heart transplant operation being performed in 1967. In 1969, the U.S. landed on the moon and celebrated Woodstock, though this was enjoyed more by baby boomers than by baby Xers. The Watergate scandal took place between 1972 and 1974, resulting in the resignation of President Richard Nixon. The Vietnam War ended in 1975 after 20 years. And in 1976, the first Apple computer was invented, opening the floodgates for the technological advances of the next generation. Generation Xers are a cynical and very skeptical bunch. They require and prefer less authority and are more self-reliant. This is partly because they're considered the latchkey generation, which emphasizes their independent status. This was the first generation to require a more balanced lifestyle between work and home. They're also more adaptable to change. Some of the advancements that occurred during the upbringing of Generation Y included the Nintendo in 1985. The term surfing the internet started in 1991, and Windows 95 launched in, you guessed it, 1995. Remember this? We've come a long way. Also, Java was created in 1996. Tragically, Yers also experienced the attack on 9/11 during this period in 2001, though this impacted all generations, not just the Yers. The Y generation is said to be the most technologically advanced. They're also the most highly educated generation. Generation Yers value teamwork and have been identified as the generation of multitaskers. They're adaptable to change, and it's been said that Yers believe that respect must be earned and do not believe in unquestionable respect. What all this means for managers is basically they need to have multiple personalities. A manager must be adaptable to the needs of their employees. It's important to identify the different means of communication and match the style of each individual. They need to know how employees from each generation prefer to receive feedback, and they need to recognize what motivates people in the workplace. Potentially managing 4 different generations is not an easy task, and managers have a lot more work in terms of creating a comfortable environment for all. We hope you've enjoyed this quick look into the lives of the diverse generations of the workforce. Thank you for watching. Now here's a little trivia for you. Can you name these popular TV shows?